For many people, the hardest part about starting a fitness program isn't the workout. It's not the time. It's not even the effort. It's the fear of the person who's going to be standing next to them, yelling at them, pushing them too hard, making them feel like they don't belong. And for a lot of people, that image alone is enough to keep them from ever starting. But what if that image of that type of trainer isn't real? What if it's been built over time, reinforced by movies, television, past experiences, and even in the fitness industry itself? And what if that belief is keeping people from experiencing something that could completely change their lives today on the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast?
Welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast
with Garrett Williamson.
Health, wellness, exercise, nutrition, and a whole lot more. Got questions? Call us and leave a message at 251-278-EDGE or message us at Personal Edge Fitness on Facebook and Instagram, at Team PE on Twitter, or personaledgefitness.com.
Hello again and welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast. I'm Garrett Williamson, your host, president of Personal Edge Fitness, and as always, I'm here to talk about health, fitness, longevity, and pushing back against what I call the lie of age. The ridiculous belief that time passing on a calendar actually causes deterioration. Today we're talking about something I've seen hold more people back than almost anything else in fitness as far as working with a trainer. It's the fear of a personal trainer. Specifically what I call the lie of the Hollywood trainer. Now, most people don't walk in and say, I'm afraid of a trainer. But they'll say things like, I don't want to be pushed too hard. I don't want someone yelling at me. I'm just not that kind of person. Believe it or not, just 2 weeks ago, I had someone say exactly that. He told me his wife works out at another facility where their instructors yell, scream, and push relentlessly. And he said to me, I'm just not that kind of person. And what he was really saying was, I don't feel safe in that environment. Now, where does this concept, this idea, this image come from? This is what I call the image of the Hollywood trainer. It didn't come from nowhere. It's been built over time. Movies portray trainers as aggressive, loud, relentless. Television reinforces it. Shows like The Biggest Loser amplified it dramatically. And for many people, if they've never worked with a trainer before, the only reference point they typically have is a high school coach, a gym teacher, or a military drill sergeant. And what do all of these have in common? Yelling, pressure, negative reinforcement. So when they think personal trainer, that's what they see. The bigger problem, now this is important because here's where it goes deeper. The Hollywood trainer isn't just a perception problem. It's also a real problem inside the industry because there are trainers who actually train this way. But most of the time it comes from a very simple mistake. The core mistake is a trainer finds something that works for them. A specific workout, a specific style, a specific intensity. And they think, if this works for me, it'll work for everyone. So they take their program and they apply it to every client. But here's the problem. You're not training a body. You're training a person. And every person is different. I've never had two individuals in my entire 35-year career that work out the same way. Every person is different. Different physically, different mentally, different emotionally. Let me show you some research about this. A study in the Journal of Sports Science and Medicine showed that individualized training programs significantly improve adherence and outcomes compared to generalized programs. Another study deals with psychology. The Psychology of Sport and Exercise did a self-determination theory, demonstrated that people are far more likely to stick with a program when they feel autonomy, competence, and support. What do you not see in there? Pressure. And research consistently shows that negative reinforcement, yelling, intimidation, excessive pressure actually decreases long-term adherence. Let me show you what I see when hiring trainers. I'll give you an inside look at this, or from the other side, I guess I'd say. When I interview trainers, one of the biggest red flags I see is this. Sometimes they've worked at 5, 6, 7 different places. I see it on their resume, and they've never stayed a long time at any of them. And when I ask them why, they'll tell me they're looking, I just want the good clients. They're looking for the good clients. And that tells me everything I need to know. Because what they're really saying is, I want clients who already fit my program. Well, that's not training. Let me give you a real story. A real example of how powerful this can be. There was a gentleman I've known almost all my life. When I tell this story, a lot of my clients are going to know who I'm talking about. He was actually my orthodontist when I was growing up. He drove me to school. He knew my family really well. And for years, literally years, we would run into each other at the same annual event. And every single time he would say, Garrett, I need to come see you. And after hearing that for about 3 years straight, I finally told him, Fred, don't tell me that anymore. I'll believe it when you show up. I think that's what really got him, because the next week he showed up. What was interesting was what happened next. This is someone who he'd had a very, very successful career. Had really a great life. Raised an amazing family. Accomplished pretty much everything he set out to do. But he had one thing holding him back. Fear. Not fear of effort. I mean, look at what I just said about him. All that stuff takes effort. Didn't have a fear of time. He had a fear of what the experience would feel like. Because in his mind, a trainer looked like a drill sergeant, a coach yelling at him, someone pushing him into failure. And as he stated to me, at that point in his life, well, he told me something I'll never forget. He said, I don't want to fail anymore. So he came in, he worked with some of our trainers, and something changed almost immediately. He noticed that he didn't feel judged. He didn't feel pushed beyond reason. He didn't feel like he was failing. Instead, every day he came in, every workout he did, no matter how hard it was, he felt like he was succeeding. He felt like he was winning. About a month later, he had a lunch scheduled with a friend he hadn't seen in over 20 years. And while they were sitting there talking, he kept checking his watch. Finally, his friend, again, a good friend that he had not seen in 20 years, his friend asked, why are you in such a hurry? And he said, I've got to get back. I've got a training session. Now think about that. This is someone who knew me well, but avoided coming into our facility for years. And now he didn't want to miss a single session. Why? Because everything changed. He was sleeping better. He had more energy. He was moving better. He felt stronger. But more important than all of that, he felt better about himself, because every day he came in, he felt like he was winning, not failing, not being judged. And when I asked him later, what kept you from coming in sooner? He told me exactly what I've been talking about. He thought it was going to be like, well, the Hollywood trainer, coach, drill sergeant. And he didn't want to put himself in a position where he felt like a failure. What he found instead was that every session felt like a win. Not punishment, not pressure, but progress. What real training is we don't train a program. We train a client. That means adapting to their pace, understanding their fears, working within their limitations, but finding what they respond to. Because success doesn't come from forcing someone into your system. It comes from building a system around them. Most people who walk into a fitness facility, most, not all, some are very, very excited, but most that walk in are not excited to be there. They're nervous. They're unsure. Some are carrying fear and shame. Most all, I would argue. So if the trainer reinforces that fear, they leave. That's one of the reasons the average personal training career only lasts 2 years. And definitely why the average client tenure lasts only 3 to 6 months. Well, we understand that image of the Hollywood trainer and avoid it, even in our hiring. At Personal Edge Fitness, we take a completely different approach. We don't just accept people who are intimidated. We specialize in them. Our trainers don't just tolerate beginners. We enjoy working with them because they understand something very important. When someone starts feeling better about themselves, everything else improves. If they just start feeling better, that's emotional, that's psychological, their strength improves, their consistency improves, their confidence improves. Folks, the Hollywood trainer isn't the standard. It's the exception. And unfortunately, it's one that gets all the attention. But real training, effective training, sustainable training, isn't built on intimidation. It's built on understanding. If you've ever hesitated to start because you were afraid of being pushed too hard, yelled at, or made to feel like you didn't belong, you're not alone. But that fear is based on a lie. Because the right trainer doesn't break you down. They continually build you up. And helping you find that kind of experience, it's just one more way we help you reach your level of wellness.
Thanks for listening to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast with Garrett Williamson. Subscribe now and be a part of the show by calling 251-278-EDGE or message us on Facebook and Instagram at Personal Edge Fitness or at Team PE on Twitter, and visit us at personaledgefitness.com.
Did you know only 22% of 8th graders are proficient in civics? It's a statistic that affects all our futures. But Alabama's Liberty Learning Foundation is changing the headlines. We partner with schools to go beyond the textbook, teaching civics, character, and financial literacy in a way that empowers students to make a real impact in their own communities. Help Liberty Learning Foundation build the leaders Alabama needs. Join the movement today at libertylearning.org.